But Trump has his own issues this morning. He's had to cancel this event in New Hampshire. He decided to fly back rather than stay in New Hampshire overnight. He flew back to New York, and this is what created this snowball effect.
And this is actually one of the downsides to Donald Trump's kind of traditional campaign, is he is someone who doesn't stick around on the ground very much. We did have those stories when he was in Iowa about him staying at a Holiday Inn, and that was actually a news story, which isn't a normal news story for most campaigns. You look at most of the candidates stay on the ground, and the perk to that is that on a day like today, you can be like a Marco Rubio, a John Kasich, a Chris Christie, or Jeb Bush, who is actually still campaigning today, despite the inclement weather. Now, Donald Trump does have something planned for South Carolina tonight as well, so he'll be down there. This is not just a New Hampshire strategy for him. He is looking here. He's looking to make his pitch to New Hampshire voters. He is up in the polls, but he's also looking ahead. He's looking to South Carolina.
What is the danger? And I'll ask you both. Yeah. I mean, what danger here? Yes, he's still leading in the polls, but he was also leading in every poll going into Iowa. New Hampshire likes to think of itself as independent. They don't want to be compared to Iowa, and they don't want you to skip over them, as we've learned, to go to South Carolina or anywhere else. What are the dangers here, and could we be looking at a follow-up to Iowa where the polls don't match what we're seeing?
Well, I think with Trump, what we're seeing here, and there has been a little bit of a difference in his stump speech. He's been here, he's been boisterous, he's been cursing, using colorful language, sticking with some of his more excitable lines about building a wall and how he's going to his strategy with ISIS. But what we're also seeing is last night and the night before, he didn't talk about polls. He didn't do his normal riff about I'm leading everywhere.
Right.
He's been more subdued and almost
he would call that low energy.
Right.
If this were someone else, so what's going on here?
But he's also pitching more of himself rather than tearing other people down, which is a marked shift between Iowa and New Hampshire here.
The other thing that I would point out just quickly is that while Iowa hasn't necessarily had the best track record of picking the ultimate nominee in its caucuses, New Hampshire does much better in that, and so there's maybe a little bit more at stake or a little bit more at play for Donald Trump here.
Well, there's been, you know, obviously said over and over, it was Iowa who said Santorum and Huckabee. It was New Hampshire who said Mitt Romney and McCain, as sobering, as the people here like to see it, a sobering of the party. But when you're not on the ground, this makes it very interesting, albeit one event. He's still, though, going on to South Carolina.
Yes. And honestly, that's what you gain by staying on the ground here. And with 4 days left to go, you want to show that you're committed, that you're here, and that you're willing to get through the snow, to trek through the snow and be with voters. And he doesn't have that option today.
We'll see if Ted Cruz capitalizes on that, though. I mean,